to start finalizing this lamp now, I'm just going to go down here and I'm going to bevel this edge a little bit just to give it a little bit more kind of shape to it. Not too much because I don't think the rest of it will allow me, but I'll do a little bit. So I'm gonna put a little bit like that there. Again, I'll probably need to soften this edge, so I need to go mesh display, soften edge, just to get rid of that. And I think that'll look pretty good now. Yeah, that looks much better. I'm not gonna do it to everything. You can try if you want to. I'm just not gonna worry about it. It's not that important to me to make sure that everything's beveled. If you do though, like, you can bevel all of these pieces. All you need to do is double click, go the whole way around. It's a good idea to select both of them at the same time and just bevel them both, because there could be issues that occur or anything like that. But you could do something like that and, you know, bevel the edges of these as well, and it will look a little bit nicer. But again, I'm just going to do that. I'm not going to worry too much about that. You can do that if you want to. You could do it for these pieces as well on here. So I've got that set up now. I want to put this into place as well. Now, something that is going to become an issue is that these are all separate pieces right now. What I am going to do is merge all these pieces here together. Now, it may be that in your animation the light bulb needs to be separated, so potentially you'll have that as a separate object, but you'll still have these pieces here combined. So again, it may differ depending on what you're doing in your animation, but we will come to that later on. So I'm going to select these three pieces and I'm going to mesh, hit combine, merge them together like that. And I want the pivot point to be on this section here, most likely. So I'm going to again move the pivot point into position, Control D and V, move it like so. I'm going to turn the grid back on, or the wireframe even, and I'm going to snap this kind of into place. Okay, so I need to move this into the center as well. And there we go. This is slightly too thin, I've just noticed there now by doing that. So I'm going to just go to vertex mode, select one side of it, hold V to snap it, and align it correctly like so. And that's pretty good there. Alright, so what I'm also going to do, I'm going to increase the size of this part here. I think I just think it looks a little bit small really for what we're doing. I'm going to increase it. Yeah, that looks pretty good now. It has gone through the mesh, but we'll sort that out afterwards. I'm going to double click and I'm just going to make this wider as well. Something like that there. That's pretty good. Now I can go into the inside and I can, let's see, what's the easiest way? Okay, so if I click on the furthest most outside surfaces, I'll select here and double click and go around the outside. So I click one, hold shift, double click, and it'll go in a list. And if I hold shift and the greater than sign on the keyboard, so greater than and less than will let you select things and increase the selection. So hold shift and greater than sign will increase the selection, and I will just move that out just enough so that it is in place here. That looks pretty good there. Okay, so that's pretty good. I am going to move this whole thing. I don't want to make that too much longer, so I'm just going to move this in slightly like that there. That looks pretty good. Again, maybe I'll bring it out a little bit, and then I'll just select the edge and then drag this in. Again, just a little bit, doesn't need to be moved in that far. Just enough, that'll do. So that is the head of my lamp sorted now. So that is looking pretty nice. Just one thing that I need to do, which is a good idea, I'm going to merge these together as well. I'm going to combine them. A problem that's going to occur when I combine it though is that it's going to lose this rotation. It's going to forget that I've rotated it like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate these back to their vertical position like so, and I'm going to select these both and hit combine. Combine is this one here for shortcut, so you can click that. Now again, it has moved the pivot point to the wrong place. I need to move that back again. So Control D and V. I need to scale out a little bit. D and V, and then snap it into place. Just make sure, again, I'll go to side view and just make sure that is in the right place. Yep, that's okay. And then I can hold J again, snap it back into place then afterwards. So that is pretty good. Everything is set up. So we've got our button, we've got our kind of mount here, we've got our arm, other arm, we've got the connection to the top as well. Basically, I'll move, I think I might move this side a little bit. I think that looks a little bit odd. And then we'll start renaming things. Okay, that's better. Alright. So now I need to start naming everything. Actually, I need to start combining things together that I don't need to move separately. So I've merged these together. I have merged this together as well. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to merge this maybe. No, I'm not, because what I can do actually for this is rotate the lamp this way, and then I can also rotate it up and down that way. So I'm going to leave these separate. I'll have those as separate pieces. These can be merged together. They don't need to be separate. So what I'm going to do is select these pieces here. I keep hitting the wrong button for that. Anyway, so I'm going to combine those again. I'm just going to put them back into position. Make sure the pivot is back into position, just in case there are any problems later. That's in the middle. That's perfect. What I might do is animate the button as well, so allow you to be able to push the button down if you want to. So we can do that as well. So now we need to start cleaning things up. As you can see, we've got like loads of groups and things, and it's all really messy. Like, we don't want any of these here. Another thing that's really important, we did cover this previously in another video, one of the other tutorials. Very important to freeze information and also delete the history. So I need to do that as well. So first thing maybe is to do these for each separate piece. So I'm going to freeze and delete history. So we just got rid of all the tabs and we've reset everything here nicely as well. So I need to do this basically for all the pieces. I want to, if possible, keep the rotation of these parts here, just because it'll be useful to know what they are. But for now, we'll start with this part here. So this is my base. So I'm going to put in lamp base. This is the button. So again, I'm just going to freeze and delete history, lamp button. This is going to be the mount. So again, freeze and delete history, lamp mount. I'm going to name this one. Actually, I'll leave that for now because that's one that we need to modify. I'll do this one. So again, freeze and delete history. What will I call this one? Lamp head mount. That'll do. And again, this one's fine. So freeze and delete history. And this one will be lamp head. Okay, so we now have two pieces, this piece and this piece, that we want to keep the rotation. So what I can do is select it, hit modify, and instead of hitting the freeze transformations button, I can hit the options box beside it, and I can tell it to not freeze the rotation. So I can hit apply, delete history, and you can see it has kept the rotation. And I can do the same for this as well. Apply, you see everything else is set except for the rotation. I'll freeze the history of that as well. Then I can close this again. Okay, so this is going to be lamp upper arm, and this one will be lamp lower arm. Again, you can change it in the settings here or anything, like you can double click and rename through this. I just had the attribute editor open and then I could rename this nicely here as well. But everything is now named correctly. We've got everything set up nicely. We have everything zeroed out as well, so it's all in nice positioning too. One thing that I wanted to do was to move this back into the center of the grid, which would be probably a good idea. Well, it's not necessary, but it's good to do that. But it will also allow us to test that this thing actually works properly. So what we can do is start parenting these together. So previously, again, we went through the whole parenting system. So you select the child first, then select the parent and hit P. So I want the head to move when this moves, the head mount. So now whenever I move it, the lamp head is going to move as well. This is going to be the parent of the lower arm, hit P. So now whenever I move this, that moves. And then parent this as well, hit P. And then keep going. I'm going to parent it to this. This needs to parent to the base, and then this needs to parent to the base as well. So now I have everything aligned properly. I'm going to hold X and just snap this into place. As you can see, it works nicely because we have reset everything. If we didn't reset things, everything kind of would have broken basically. I now have all these options available to me for animating, so I can rotate the base like this here and I'll move the bottom. I can move these as well, rotate this. I can rotate the top piece if I wanted to, and I can rotate this as well. So with all that done, I'm going to leave that video here. So that is our lamp setup. Now we are going to explore a different way of rigging our lamp this time. I'm going to leave it like this for now, but most likely I'm going to change it later on. So we're going to look into using bones and that type of system to set up the rest of the rig.